What's up, Bears fans? It is time for another mailbag here on Chicago Bears Now. My name is Harrison Graham. We start with trade season, saying, if all three cost the same, would you trade for Micah Parsons, Maxx Crosby, or Myles Garrett? I'll flip the question around and then I'll kind of give my thoughts here. You guys vote. P for Parsons, C for Crosby, G for Garrett. I think Garrett's the best all-around player right now. Like, if you asked me for one season, I'd for sure pick him. If you asked me for 5 seasons, I'd probably pick Micah Parsons because he's 25. Crosby's like in between. He's in between on age. He's a better run stopper than Micah. You could argue Micah's a slightly better pass rusher, although Max is fantastic as well. Max is more of a, like, as talented as he is, he's also a big part of his talent is just like his motor is just nonstop. That's a big part of his game. I mean, all these guys have good motors, but Max doesn't come off the field. But that also might shorten his shelf life. He even talked about it the other day. He was like, the way I play, I may not be playing at a high level in my mid-30s. So I think Micah at 25 years old is still ascending, entering his prime. Like, Garrett is probably going to be elite for 3 more years. Micah could be for 7. I would probably go Parsons if all things were equal. I like the fit opposite of Montez Sweat, who could go back to being more of that edge-setting defensive end. So we'll see what they do. We'll see if they're in on any of these players, and obviously it takes 2 to tango. We'll see if these teams are actually willing to trade them or not. Trump is a Bears fan. Interesting. I didn't know that. Could you see the Bears signing Josh Sweat after that monster game yesterday? Yeah, I think they'll be in the mix. I do think, and, obviously in free agency you have to be willing to overpay. I think he's a guy you probably need to have a line at and not willing to cross because in his career, at times he's been a starter, but at other times he's been a heavy rotation guy. Like, I don't think Josh Sweat all of a sudden is like a all-pro player. I think he's a solid player. He's a good player. He was damn good against the Chiefs. I'll tell you that. I mean, when he pile drove Joe Thuney into Mahomes' lap, which led to a pick to Zach Bond, that was a hell of a play. I mean, he was dominant in the Super Bowl. He's not giving you that week in and week out, though. Like, he's a good player that kind of has really good weeks and then weeks where he doesn't give you a ton. So I could see some team giving him $20, $22 million per year. To me, I'm more comfortable in the 15 to 18 range, but we'll see. We'll see if the guarantees is probably what would matter most on a potential structure there. DC Viper, I'm pretty interested to see how all the rookies do at the Pro Day. Hopefully it makes the choices easier for the Bears as who to draft, but my eyes are on Jordan Burch and JT Tuimoloau. Yeah, Cullen talked about Jordan Burch, one of his draft crushes out of Oregon. JT Tuimoloau, I thought he was dominant in Ohio State's playoff run. He kind of finally reached his full potential. Like, remember, he was this number 1 overall recruit, and he had a good college career, but he was kind of flashy. Like, he would have huge games and then disappear for a few weeks. In the playoff run, he was dominant. I love Tuimoloau at 39 or 41. Like, if he's sitting there, I think that's great value. He's big, he's athletic, he's strong. Burch, we'll see where he goes. Probably somewhere on day 2, but it's there's some intriguing players in that range of when the Bears are going to be picking in the second round. So I think that could be a spot where they get a pass rusher if they don't invest in one in free agency or on the trade market. Subscribe to Bears Now if you want full off-season coverage. We're talking the latest news, rumors, free agency, draft, trade buzz. We got it all. Hit that subscribe button. And if you want to be a part of these mailbags every Monday and Thursday, live, 4 o'clock Central. Ferta Productions, how about a tray for any O-lineman? Yeah, I mean, good O-linemen typically don't become available via trade, especially like really, really good ones. Like the Orlando Brown one a few years ago to the Chiefs, that one stands out. But even he, like, good player, but not blue chipper, right? I don't even know who would be that this year. Are the Colts going to trade Quentin Nelson? I doubt it. I'm trying to even think off the top of my head. Teams just don't trade good linemen, especially in their prime. Now, you might be able to find a guy like exiting his prime on like a team that's not winning right now. I don't know, like Joel Bitonio of the Browns or something like that. There was chatter that if the Browns enter a rebuild, he may want out. But like, is that a huge needle mover? I'd probably rather just sign somebody. So it would have to depend on who it is, Ferta. But I'm open to all avenues to improving the trenches because that's got to be a priority. Christian McClung, who is the best edge prospect for day 2 of the draft that we can end up taking? Well, we just mentioned JT Tuimoloau. Jack Sawyer could fall, but most think he'll go first round. Princely Uman Maleen, the Ole Miss edge, I think he could be in that range, 39 to 41. We mentioned Jordan Burch as well. Who's the guy? One of those A&M guys, Scorton. Could he be sitting there? Maybe he's late for round 1, early round 2 is probably in that range. The Boston College kid, I'm going to screw up his name. It's like Ezeriku or something. He could be a guy that's sitting there in the second round. I do think there's a good volume of players on day 2. Defensive tackles, too. Like Walter Nolan, late round 1, early round 2. The kid from Oregon, Derek Harmon. So there's going to be a lot of talent in the trenches, especially on the defensive line on day 2 of the draft. So the Bears should be able to find somebody there. Predict the Bears' record next season. What is their 17-game record going to be? Hopefully better than 5-12. Mike Nintendo Master, besides Trey Smith, should we go after Will Fries? I don't know what his market will be coming off that leg fracture. But, yeah, I mean, he'd be a player I'd be interested in. Is he like a $10 to $12 million guy? Does some team give him like 16? I would like him more if he's in that like 10 to 13 range. Like, could you get like, I don't know, 3 for 36 for Will Fries? Like, I think that'd be pretty good value because, Trey Smith is probably going to be around $20 million. So, I think he'd be a guy you could pivot to. I don't know if you'd get both unless one of them came below market value on what we're expecting. Like, to me, if you get Trey Smith, like a natural second guard would be like Kevin Zeitler. Like, bring him over for Detroit, 1-2-year deal, knows Ben Johnson. The verbiage isn't going to be a problem. You give him like 2 for 15, 2 for 18, like, $7 to $9 million per year, and bring him on board. Adam Morrow, can we sign Zach Martin, who could also be in that realm, by the way, with Zeitler, Dalman for a year or 2 to allow him to focus on training for Parsons? I don't want to get like 3 Band-Aids on the offensive line. 1, maybe 2 is fine. I think you need to find, like, I'll say this. Your week 1 starting offensive line, to me, at least 3/5 of it should be guys who are long-term starters. You've got one of those in Darnell Wright. Can you find 2 more? Like, if you find 2 more guys that are starters for at least 2 seasons moving forward, I can live with that. If you find only 1 guy and the rest of it is just like 1-year deal guys, Braxton Jones expiring, like that's not super inspiring to me. I think at least 3/5 of your O-line needs to be with the vision of multiple years starting moving forward because you just got to build continuity there. It's been a big problem here. Will the Bears make the playoffs next year? Y for yes, N for no. Y for yes, N for no. Let us know. Be awesome. Haven't done a playoff game since Jimmy Graham one-handed it straight to the locker room on the last play of the game to lose 21-9 to the Saints. I mean, this is how long it's been since the Bears made the playoffs. Drew Brees was the opposing quarterback when they were playing. So let's get back to the playoffs. That would be nice. Soldier Bear, do you think the Bears will honor Virginia some way? Maybe a uniform change. Well, they're pretty old school with their uniforms. I don't think you're going to get some change. But, remember 2 years ago when Dick Butkus died, they wore the 51 patch. Could they do like a VHM little sticker on the helmet next season? I could certainly see that being a possibility. So the social team for the Bears has done great with some storytelling, and they put out a good 7 or 8 minute kind of, I don't know what you call it, like a mashup the other day with who's their social media person, Lauren Screeden, I think is her name. She did some voiceover work for that. That was pretty good. So, and kudos to the NFL, by the way, for honoring her before kickoff at Super Bowl 59. Miles, would you rather sign Khalil Mack and no other pass rush help or trade 2 1s for Parsons? If you told me the offensive line gets significantly improved, I would trade 2 1s for Parsons. Now, I don't think signing Mack is a bad idea. 1 or 2 year deal, I think he could help. Would he come back here? I have no idea. But if you told me, like I said, you still find 2 long-term starters on your O-line and traded for Parsons, I'd be in. Let's do it. The Notcast, you have overhyped most likely, or are you asking me most likely to bust in this draft? Gosh. Trying to think of like the guys at the top. I will say this, and I don't know if you agree with me, Colin. Feel free to mic up here. While the top doesn't feel like super like typical top of the draft guy, and I'm taking the quarterbacks out of it because that would be my answer. Is both these quarterbacks could bust. I think that's very much on the board. A lot of the other guys in the top 10 feel like at least they're going to be solid, right? Like I think Will Johnson going to be a really good pro. Mason Graham going to be a really good pro. Like Travis Hunter, could it get wonky with like the what position is he going to play, all that stuff? I just think he's too talented though on both sides. Like I think it's going to work. Maybe he's not an all-pro, but I think he'll be good. I mean, maybe you could point to one of the linemen, like could Kelvin Banks like just not work out? Linemen bust all the time, so that's probably where I would point, one of the offensive linemen. But a lot of these other guys in the top of the draft, they may not be superstars, but they feel like they're going to be good starters.
Yeah, I'll just add a quick bit here. I think, obviously if you get, a Travis Hunter, a Mason Graham, and Abdul Carter, like you're feeling pretty safe with those bets. In terms of top 10, I do like Tutorial McMillan, the wide receiver.
He could be one maybe. Like
if he goes to a bad quarterback situation.
Yeah, if he goes to the wrong system or something like that, Tet McMillan, that's a good call. He'd probably be the answer. Coming from Pac-12, Big 12, like sling it around, like maybe for whatever reason that doesn't translate. That's a good call. Luther Burden maybe, like one of these receivers, kind of like linemen. That receiver and lineman can be pretty hit and miss. For every Justin Jefferson, there's 3 Jalen Reagors.
And that's no fault of McMillan or Burden. It's just, again, if they land in the wrong situation, like they're not independent of success. To your point, like they're Jamar Chase, where they're going to succeed no matter what, or Justin Jefferson, the better example. Yeah. They're going to succeed no matter what. So that could be a scenario.
Yeah, that's a good call. All right, appreciate all your questions. If you have any more, hit me up on social media at HGramNFL on Twitter. Same handle on Instagram. It's at HGramNFL. DMs are open. I have finally started to catch up on DMs on Instagram. It's been a busy couple of weeks. I will continue to do that. Bear down.